And hello, late tea time podders around the world. Good to have you with us today. Always good. On my screen, I get a little bit of a notification that people are watching, and you're very keen today. A lot of you jumping on before you even see our lovely little faces. It's James and Dave T with you ahead of the Travellers Championship. That's what we're looking ahead to today, getting DT's best bets on that. First of all, morning, DT. How are you?
Yeah, good morning. Looking forward to another big event. All the field, all the best players in the field, apart from one.
Yes, and we'll talk about that a little bit, shall we? Because it was a rather exciting finish to the US Open. I can't remember, please forgive me, but the person that commented on our round 4 preview who said they wanted to see Rory going head to head at the end of it with Bryson got their wish, didn't they? And it was pretty thrilling, gripping stuff towards the end.
Yeah, and it's funny. I mean, you've watched it again. There's 2 missed putts in there from Rory, and the first one that he misses, I think he misses it because he's seen Cantlay's putt just before then kind of not break the way he thought, and he's overcompensated. But the putt on 18 is a really hard putt. It's just sort of like it flings itself to the right. So
I don't know about you though. I was watching that. I never thought he was going to make that putt.
It looked just slippery, and it's just because of the one that's just gone as well. It's just like, oh no.
He seemed to be in a bad space at the time, and he was looking back down the 18th to see where Bryson's ball had gone, and seemed to have a load of things going on in his head. And I just never felt that he was going to hold that. And danger with stuff like that. I mean, he's obviously responded. He's taking a bit of a break, and he's going to be back for Scotland, the Scotland leg of the season, and the Open, obviously. But danger with stuff like that is it can actually scar you a little bit as sports people if you've missed a real great opportunity, particularly after you've been waiting 10 years for your next bite of the cherry, and you see that disappearing from your grasp. It can take a bit of getting over, can't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's people I know who are now saying it, right, that's it, he will never ever win a major again. I'm not in that camp. I think there are different ways to do it. I mean, that's presuming that same scenario plays out again. That they're the only sort of circumstances where he'll ever get the chance again. It might be that he goes out early one day in the final round, shoots 65, 10 more groups still to play, and they don't catch him. So there are other ways to do it. Or it might be that, I mean, he's unlucky in some ways in the fact that DeChambeau played that brilliant up and down. On another day, someone could like completely mess that up, and he wins still. So it's just.
I was all over the playoff at the time because I just thought he's never going to get down in 2 from there. He's going to get down in 3. They're going to go for extra holes. But
when I was watching, I watched a clip the other day of when Jordan Spieth won the US Open, and he'd done his bit, and then Dustin Johnson 3-putted the final hole, and it's like, oh no. And Spieth was sort of gifted it, and then you think, well, DJ, that's his head gone, and then he goes and wins, a Masters and a US Open. So it can be done.
Just before we get on to Bryson, because I want to talk a bit about Bryson DeChambeau, but the for Rory, the good, I guess, if you're going to take the positives, as they say, out of the event. He was in situ, wasn't he? He got himself into contention. He's been in contention a lot. He hasn't quite made it. He's been runner-up and he's been top 5 and he's doing all the rest of it. But year on year, he's close. So surely, ultimately, it's close, but with the cigar rather than no cigar, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what Jack Nicklaus used to say. He used to say, just put yourself in position. And the more you do that, sometimes it's going to go your way. Sometimes the other guy will mess up. So I think Rory's good enough to keep putting himself there. You just think by law of averages, it might be that everyone else sort of the waves part and he's left as the winner. So yeah, I'm definitely not in the camp that that's him done now. Nah, too simple to say that.
On Bryson though, he's gone from live traitor to everybody's golden boy, isn't he? I mean, the scenes at the 18th, as you say, the up and down from the bunker, and then going around getting everybody to touch the trophy, absolutely brilliant. As somebody said, it's what golf needs, and he seems to be. I mean, you mentioned it all the way through that he was kind of very open, but joining commentary teams and stuff like that. He seemed to be really up for it. It was obviously a special thing for him with the Payne Stewart backdrop, but he just seems to be a little bit of a breath of fresh air again, doesn't he?
It does. I mean, there's a few people sort of saying it's a bit kind of contrived and everything, but it doesn't really matter to me. Even if it is contriving it, it's just a bit of fun, isn't it? It's adding a lot of fun and bringing more eyes to golf that maybe would have thought, oh, that's, golf's had a bit of a tough time PR-wise for quite a while because of Liv, and maybe DeChambeau was part of that, but he's definitely turning it around now, isn't it? And people are going, oh, that's quite fun, isn't it? Look at this guy.
Do you think it gives Liv a little bit of an extra bargaining chip when it comes to trying to come together and whatever else that they've got planned? Because they hold probably the biggest box office asset in golf in Bryson, and the PGA would love to have him back. So it maybe makes the negotiations a bit easier for Liv potentially.
It's hard to know, isn't it? My opinion is, what's he doing over there? He's wasted over there. He should be. But other people say because we don't get to see much of him, it's more sort of exciting when we do.
It'd be nice to see a lot more of him and some of the others as well that are out there on the Liv Tour. It'd be nice to see them week in, week out, and the PGA Tour, which is obviously what we are here to talk about today. Before we get into that, though, thank you very much to switchwatersupplier.com for their continued support of the Late Tea Time podcast. Very much appreciated. If you want to save money on your business water bills, then they are the people to go to, switchwatersupplier.com. But anyway, on to the Travellers. And as DT says, very good field in this one, headed by Scotty Scheffler, who will be fresh from his disappointment at the US Open, 15-4. Xander Schauffele, another good finish for him in a major, 7-1. Collins there, my mate, 12-1. Ludwig Oberg is, I can never get that right. It's always kind of the second attempt, isn't it? 14-1. Victor Hovland, 20-1. Patrick Cantlay is 20-1. Hideki's 25s, and the rest are bigger. DT, you told me ahead of pressing go live that you've got one outright pick and 2 first-round leader picks. Which way round should we play them?
We do the outright pick. I mean, it's a fairly kind of. I've not gone Scheffler, put it that way, but I've gone the next step and gone for Schauffele. A lot of this is a signature series event again, so we've basically had signature series Memorial, a major, really tough major at Pinehurst, and then another one here. Some of them sound like they're flagging. Some of them sound like this is maybe a week too far, and I'd rather be putting the feet up at this stage. But the one who didn't to me was Xander Schauffele. I read his interview, and I picked out a few quotes. Excuse me. This was his pre-tournament interview the other day, and he says about the Travellers, "It's such a relaxing week coming here after the US Open. I think all of us appreciate that." And I'm talking about the course. He says, "I think overall the rough is up and the course might be playing a little harder than people are expecting. I think that suits him." And talking about his display at Pinehurst, he says, "I hit the ball the best probably on Sunday, which was nice, played well. So he finished on a bit of a high, which is good." And then the feeling about how tired are players. And he it's almost like he was being... People have been asking, "Are you tired? Are you tired? Are you tired?" And he just said, I don't feel super tired. Just playing Memorial in the US Open.
I'm just tired of you asking me whether I'm tired."
Yeah, it's like he's being told you should be tired, and he's going, "No, not really." And then they asked him as well about how he felt when he woke up having won his, because he's only just joined the Majors Club. He won the USPGA last month. So they asked him, how did you feel when you woke up? And he said, "Yeah, I woke up happy. I mean, I always wake up happy." So he's got a really, really good temperament, very sort of on the level, which kind of is good for not feeling the fatigue. He's not, I think Rory does sort of go up and down, but I think Schauffele is very much kind of a steady guy. You see him on the course, he's got a very calm demeanour. And basically take out Scotty Scheffler, and Xander Schauffele's numbers are absolutely fantastic this season. He's got 10 top 10s. Okay, so he's only got the one win, but I think the next one is coming, and obviously I think it's going to be this week. It's just his numbers are fantastic, and of course he's got the big thing as well. And you touched on it last week. He's just made the Olympics team, and I know he probably knew he was already on that team, but it's just in his mind again that, right, the Olympics team has just been named. Oh, that was the one I won. Lots of good memories flooding back. And he spoke about that again in his press conference. He just says, "Yes, that was a really big goal of mine to get back. I'm really looking forward to competing." So he's got a nice sort of positive flow going. So all good and everything. And then, of course, he won this event 2 years ago. So he's got the win on the course. He's going back to somewhere that he's tasted success. So even though the odds aren't stunning, I think with a lot of the big guns maybe just breathing out a little bit, I think he's on this, and I think he can go ahead, take advantage of I think Scheffler is tired for everything, all that competing under the gun, being a new dad and everything. So I think that this is Xander Schauffele's week, and his press conference really made me sort of think that.
Well, it must be quite nice to be playing amazing golf, be a new winner of a major, as you say, going back to the Olympics as well, walking with a spring in your step. And no wonder he's happy. If you can't be happy in that situation, when can you not be happy? But just for people that are interested, we spoke, as DT says, about the Olympic selection. I retweeted on the @Late Tea Time Pod Twitter feed, I think it was yesterday, the list of entries for the Olympics and how they qualified. So it explains it all in that article. So if you have a look at that, if you're interested, Scotty Scheffler is on the list. 4 Americans being picked for that, and done a little bit on world rankings and all sorts. But anyway, and that's the I think 60 entrants for the Olympics in France for the golf. I mean, just going back to Scotty, anybody who has been backing him because he is always winning, even at ridiculously short prices in golfing terms, is now the time to maybe just ease off on him a little bit until we see him come back to full swing?
It seems that way. I mean, I've seen a few people say, well, he was, just over 3-1 to win a major last week. This week he's 4-1 to win a much, with so many fewer rivals up against him. So surely it's a bit of value. And then the other angle is he's got Ted Scott on his bag, and Ted Scott won this event at this course with Bubba Watson 3 times. So Ted Scott knows everything about where you miss, where to aim off the tee and everything. But I think those are just little bits. I just think it goes in a bit of a pattern, doesn't it? I think Scheffler's maybe had his big purple patch, and he might just be sort of taking stock a bit before he pushes on again. So I think it's reasonable to take him on this week. His course form isn't amazing, so I'm against him this week.
Sorry, isn't it? When going back a few years, I always used to get Scheffler and Schauffele mixed up, and that was when they were kind of a bit further back in terms of their prominence on the golfing tour. But now they are both the 2 best golfers in the world, aren't they? As we head into the rest of 2024 and indeed the Olympics. Anyway, I mentioned earlier, SwitchwaterSupplier.com are our sponsors of the Late Tea Time podcast. Here's a nod to them on the podcast this week.
All golfers want to stay away from the water. That splash as your round sinks beneath the surface is never a good sound. But golf courses rely on water to keep those fairways and greens lush. For that post-round shower or the clean glass at the 19th hole. Golf courses, indeed most businesses, spend way too much money on their water bills. Switch Water Supplier can cut your water costs and help your business save money. Register now at switchwatersupplier.com. They will do all the hard work and get your business the very best price for your water supply and claim money back if you've been overcharged. Switchwatersupplier.com. Switching made simple.
And a grateful nod to switchwatersupplier.com. Thank you for their support of the Late Tea Time podcast. James and Dave with you, as always, on the Late Tea Time podcast. Looking forward to the Travellers' Championship. We've got then Xander Schauffele on our betting slip this week. He's 15-2, 5 places, but I guess we're taking him on the nose, aren't we?
Yeah.
Taking him to win it. Anyway, we said earlier, 2 first-round leaders picks as well, DT. So where are we going to go with those?
First one, I think there's an opportunity this week. It's a limited field, 71 players, so fewer people to beat, and some good prices knocking around. So the one I like best of all is Thomas Dietrich, the Belgian, who's, I think if you were sort of trying to sum up where he is at the moment, someone who can start fast, put himself in contention, but can't get over the line. But obviously, we're playing the first round leader market, so we're not too bothered what he does on Sunday. So looking at his first round leader positions of late, so he was 9th after round 1 of the US Open last week, which was good, shot 69. He was 5th after round 1 of the US PGA after a 66. So, playing in these big elite events, he's been right up there after day one, which bodes well for this one. He was the leader at Pebble Beach earlier this season after day one with a 63. That's all good. 4th at the Farmers Insurance after day one. And then again, just to highlight how well he plays when all the big guns are in town, apart from Rory this week. He was 3rd after day one of the Scottish Open last year, which was sort of similar time of year. He putted really well last week, which again suggests he can throw in a low round at some point. And even though he didn't make the cut last year, he shot 70-68. He had a first look. I think he's coming to a course where, okay, I've had a look at this now. I'll know more on my return. And he's, a more rounded player since then. He's got another year of playing on the PGA Tour under his belt. So I thought 66-1, I think you can get. He was a good bet.
Yeah, 60-61, 6 places with Unibet. So that's Thomas Dietrich going on to the... and he played well last week, didn't he? It's just, as you say, didn't quite have enough, but he was in contention. The second pick then for first round leader.
Yeah, a bit of a favourite of mine and ours. Tony Finau.
Yes.
Again, he was someone who did struggle to win for a while. He kind of crossed that bridge and started getting a few trophies under his belt. But he's still good in this first round leader market, I think. If you look at his last 4 events, where he was after 18 holes, US Open, he was 6th after day one. Before that, 19th after day one at Memorial. And then the previous 2, he was 2nd after day one at the Charles Schwab at Colonial, and then 2nd again after day one at the USPGA at Valhalla. So he's been getting out of the gates really fast, and he played really, really well, didn't he, last week, Tony Finau, tied 3rd, probably left that course with a spring in his step. He was never quite near enough to lead on the final day to push for the title, but some really good vibes he'll be carrying from that. I mean, he's not got an amazing record at this course, but he was 13th 2 years ago, which is fine. And if you look at his round scores over the last couple of Travellers, you look in there, he's got a 65 and a couple of 66s, so he can go low on this course. I just think in his form at the moment, he's hitting the ball beautifully with his approach. His first on strokes gained approach at the US Open last week. And I think you can get 40s on Finau being first round leader. And again, I thought that was a really good price.
Yeah, you can get 40-1, 5 places with spread X. And we have got 33-1, 6 places elsewhere. So he pays your money, you takes your choice in terms of if you want places or you want the price on Tony Finau. But he is, as DT says, 40-1 is the best price you can get on him to be the first round leader, and 66-1 on Thomas Dietrich. So good luck, DT. Good luck, everybody, with those picks. Anything else from me before we say goodbye today?
Not really. There was an interview with Michael Thor Bjornsson, who's just come top of the university rankings, and I did think about him as a bet for top 20 or something. He did play this as an amateur a couple of years ago and was 4th, but I don't know if his game is quite bang on at the minute. But he's the local guy. He's from the area. Has played this course lots of times before, so it's there for you if you want the local guy angle. He's the one to look for.
This probably won't mean too much to our American viewers and listeners, but England playing in the Euros again today. So joined by Harry Kane as a special guest on the late. I know you like your golf as well, Harry. Harry Kane, how do you see it tonight? How do you think England have got a chance against the Danes?
Obviously, I had a lot of touches of the ball that first half against what we were playing. So I got 2 touches of the ball. So I think if we can obviously play well against the Danes, I could score a goal. And and my German's coming on, so I feel very much at home here. I can count to 12. I won't do it. Don't make me do it.
Harry Kane, always good to see you, and thank you for joining us on the Late Tea Time podcast. Good luck against Denmark later on. DT, I'm back in the chair. Thank you for your time as always, and I will see you again roughly at the same time next week. You know, by now, a Late Tea Time podcast, Wednesday, Thursday, whenever it is.
Yeah, look forward to that. So, yeah, it should be a good week, this one. Another chance to see all the big guys in action. Just a shame we've not got Rory, and a shame we've not got DeChambeau. By the way, just quickly on him, bit of controversy there. Well, not controversy because he knew what was going to happen. he won't be on the Olympics team because of the rankings, because his rankings aren't. So it's a shame. He would have been great for the Olympics, but not to be. Plus, he's got the French name, hasn't he, as well, which would have been nice.
Yeah. Do we know what DeChambeau means? It must mean something.
Yeah, I don't know, actually.
One for next week. That's your homework for next week, DT. You can come back and tell us.
Well, I'm sure our viewers can send that in.
Yeah, at Late Tea Time Pod, if you know what DeChambeau actually means. Translated into English, obviously. If you translate it into South Korean, I'll be even none the wiser.
Doesn't sound like a cheese. Bryson off cheese or something like that.
Cheesy Bryson. Anyway, well done, Bryson. Well done. And unlucky Rory. And good luck this week to Xander Schauffele, who's carrying our money to win the Travellers Championship, and to Thomas Detry and to Tony Finau at 66 and 33 to 1, respectively. Hopefully, they're top of the table, or top of the scoreboard at the end of the first round. Late Tea Time Punters, gamble responsibly. This has been a Sports Broadcast Media production, and we will see you again next week. Everybody, have a good time. Good luck and enjoy the golf.
Always gamble responsibly. Visit begambleaware.org for more information.